Hello, everyone. No one of consequence here, back with another episode of my Give the People What They Want series. Luke Gygax did an hour-long Q&A session at GaryCon on Friday. What I've done for this video is clip out what I found to be the most interesting things he said from an old-school gamer point of view. I'm not even going to make any comments this time. I'm just going to let Luke speak for himself.
I kind of realized that after the year after he passed away, I wanted to make sure he was never forgotten. And his name was now no longer on the books, and I was afraid that the younger generation of gamers wouldn't know who Gary Gygax was. And so through GaryCon, I wanted to make sure that his legacy would still be there, and in a sense that you never truly die so long as people remember you. And I didn't want my dad to be forgotten. We drove down the next day and met Dan, and he told me the story of being offered the job, and he had to say, "I'll think about it." And he said, the reason it's my dream job, but the reason I said that is, in his words, I don't want to fuck this up. And I said, that's why you're the right guy for the job. That's because it means something to you. It's that important that you have to think about, do I want to do this? Because what if I fail? So he put thought into it, and he's like, yeah, I really want to do this. And he apologized to me twice during that dinner. He said, I am sorry for the way your family has been treated. And he said, I want to heal that divide between the family and the franchise. And I said, Dan, you didn't do it. It's okay. But he's Canadian, so he did it twice. I just think that's silly. There's no right way to play D&D, or no wrong way to play D&D, so long as everybody in the group is having fun and have a good time. It's a game. It's meant to be enjoyed. Sure, it has all these other benefits that come along with playing it, but that should never get in the way of the fact that it's an awesome game and to have fun and make friends, right? That's the primary thing that we're doing. And as far as the legacy through Creative Works, I really just think it would be awesome, and it's almost like I have to pinch myself. I'm going to get to publish official D&D products in Greyhawk, and the name Gygax is going to be on official D&D products again. That's something I didn't think would ever happen, and so I am over the moon about that. And I can't thank Dan enough for reaching out and opening that door. And so I want to make great products that gamers are excited about and that people enjoy, and just to love Greyhawk as much as I did as a kid getting to play with my dad. Now, as a nitpicky gamer from the old days, I'd say this newfangled Dungeons & Dragons is too easy. So I would get out my cane and shake it at the players and make some alternate rules that I think would make keep Greyhawk Gygaxian, right? And I have some ideas on how to do that. And there's some, I'd like to feature my character Melf in some of the things that were going on, because for heaven's sake, he's been portrayed the wrong way in art and everything like that. It's nothing like the character that I was playing, especially the action figure way back when that had a different name. They're like, oh, Melf is something, and it's like, no, he's not blonde hair and doesn't, come on. But anyway, so it's neither here nor there. So those are just personal things. But I would like to see Greyhawk made once again to be somewhere that's challenging, where there's tension, where you feel like when you go on an adventure, you are not on a cakewalk. You don't have tights and a cape on, and you aren't a superhero. This is potentially dangerous. If you don't think, if you don't plan and husband your resources, you might not make it out. Yes?
What do you think your father would be most surprised by in the gaming system today? And is there any particular aspect you think he would love or hate?
I know he wasn't a fan of drow being player characters. So he's like, those are monsters. They're supposed to be evil. So I think he had Dungeons and Dragons for him, especially I think, was meant to be a lesson and to establish a certain bit of morals in people. If you played evil characters, nobody was your friend. You were going to backstab each other. People that you were dealing with, who knew, were also going to, if they were evil, were going to, try to cheat, kill, steal, rob, etc. You couldn't trust anybody. And he saw, ideally, he didn't really run any. I think I played one evil character and I didn't do very well with it, but he expects you to be at least neutral, if not good, because Greyhawk was often, the call to adventure was, evil is on the rise. Good people are dying. What are you going to do to stop this? And that was your call to adventure. It wasn't to, oppress people and create a, become Ias and crush, everybody around you and rise to power that way. Sure, some people play that. You can play D&D however you want. But his games were more about bad stuff is happening. What are you going to do? And so I think, that's where he came from. And playing monsters took away from the really simplicity of a fantasy world where there are gods who are good, there are gods who are bad, and some of these monsters were created by evil, and they aren't like everybody else. They don't put human characteristics on them, right? They are just, in essence, bad creatures, like from a fairy tale, right? From folklore, evil creatures. So he didn't like that part, but that's probably a nitpicky little thing that he would talk about. I think the things that he would find irritating, and irritating wise because it would get in the way of good gameplay, is there's a lack of tension if you have too many safety nets. So for a good game, you want to have heart-racing action and tension. And he really, he didn't often like too much, well, I shouldn't say that. He didn't like too much role-playing in the 80s. It was more about the adventure, whether that's solving riddles or fighting things. Then in the later 90s, when I was gaming with him, I used to hate some of the things he'd do because he was designing settings, right? And so they'd be like, okay, great, I'm like, yes, let's go off and go into the castle. And he's like, no. First you have to prepare yourselves and get supplies. I'm like, great, we go to the things. No. And I'd have to go like around to various shops and haggle with the shopkeepers and try to get the better price. And he's like, all right, roll the dice. I'm like, oh, come on, are you kidding? He's like, no, people like to do this. This is great. And he'd taken a few trips to Morocco where he'd learned to haggle a little bit. And so he really liked that. So in these settings, there was a lot of haggling with shopkeepers and that sort of stuff. And as a 20-something, young 20s, or mid-20s even, guy, I was like, why am I shopping and haggling all this stuff? But people love that sort of thing, and you have different personalities for your shopkeepers and some charts on, what's going to influence and that sort of stuff. So, but mostly he liked to keep the action rolling and that sort of stuff, but he did adapt his style over time to encompass what folks wanted. So don't make it too easy. If it's too easy, you have no skin in the game. Where is the excitement in that? And I will probably be putting those adventures on the back burner so that I can focus on Greyhawk. That's a wider audience, and what an opportunity! How can I not do that? GUI Cube, we're already hip deep in that. We're going to keep going with that, and I love working with the team at GUI Cube. They're great people. They put out outstanding, high quality product, and are doing it all for the right reasons. So I'll continue with that. I made a promise to my dad that we would get Castle Zagig out, which is based on his original Greyhawk material. So we're going to continue to do that, and working with Troller Games and Steve Chenault, a good friend, who also made that promise to my dad, and we worked a lot of years to be in the position where we are now, where we get to do that. If I can get some of my dad's work as official D&D product, well, that'd be great, but there's no promises on that. Those are discussions to be had, but that'd be really wonderful, and that would be something that's totally awesome. So if I have my dream book, I'm already living the dream, honestly. It's pretty amazing, so I'm very thankful for that. But the next incredible step would be seeing some of my dad's work released again in his official D&D product, so that would truly be wonderful.
All right, well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you can, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what Luke had to say. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. If you know of a good place, please share the video. And anything you do to help support the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye for now.